Most of the Mars scenes in the Martian 2015 were actually filmed on Earth. The utter betrayal. My favorite thing about Zuko joining the gang is how seamlessly he assumes the position of sleep deprived, over-aggravated, strict parent, forced to play bad cop to keep the children on task. And my absolute favorite, without missing a beat, get out of the bison's mouth, soccer, which is a pretty accurate approximation of daily conversations with a toddler. That's just it about Zuko. He became the missing piece the gang saw he needed, because he is the central father figure taking care of the toddlers. This is a character who's been prepped for leadership for years. He knows he could potentially rule the Fire Nation one day. His uncle has been secretly grooming him while aboard the battleship which Zuko runs. He's the leader of a small battalion of Fire Nation soldiers. He's a prince. He understands what it means to be a leader. He understands sacrifice. Can you imagine from his perspective exactly what it was like to join the gang? The people who thwarted him all this time really are just children. He finds out On really is a literal child. Sokka is mostly self-taught as all paternal figures he could have had teach him left for war at a young age. So he's very much junior as to what it means to be a leader. Toph led a very sheltered life of female nobility, learning to be seen not heard, and she lashes out in full-blown pretty angst. Katara has the mom of the group part down, because by god someone had to step up and be an authoritative figure to the babies. So here comes Zuko thinking the gang might just be as war-worn as he is. They've got all their ish together and must be like immature for their ages. Ding dong, he was wrong. He's a practical adult with a lot of life experience trying to wrangle children into saving the freaking world. No wonder he's sleep deprived, aggravated and strict. He thought he was dealing with professionals, like what he's used to. Instead he just adopted 3 kids and is sharing custody with Katara. I'm looking at gameplay of the cancelled version of Resident Evil 2 that got leaked a few years ago, and I forgot that they were going to have product placement with Pepsi. This is really fking funny to me. I don't know why. This is fked up. Somebody please desaturate the colors on the Pepsi machine so it matches the surroundings. Saturate it more. Everyone needs to notice it. You guys are killing me here. I dunno. I think if I were playing, I'd notice the zombie more than the Pepsi. Desaturate the zombie or remove them from the game completely. Just some advice from someone who took a class in marketing. But now it looks like the person is running from the Pepsi, and that's not good for their brand. The person is pointing a gun at the product. Fix it. Holy sh. You weren't wanted. Not wah. Oh dear, what an awkward situation. In medieval culture, an event like a royal christening is not a private party. It's the public social event of the year. To not invite any person of rank to such an event is a deadly insult. Maleficent is certainly someone you wouldn't want at a party, but she's also someone powerful enough that only a fool would ever dare treat her with such blatant disrespect. The only way the king and queen could possibly have gotten away with not inviting Maleficent was to not invite any of the fairies at all. Inviting the other fairies and excluding her is explicitly taking sides in the conflict between the fairy factions, which means they made themselves her sworn enemies, and she responded by treating them as such from then on. If you actually get into analyzing the social dynamics of the scene, it's very clear that Maleficent was willing to show mercy at first by giving the king and queen a chance to apologize for their disrespect to her. She doesn't curse Aurora until after she gives them that chance, and they throw it back in her face with further disrespect. And yeah, if the king and queen had done the properly respectful thing and invited her, Maleficent would have given Aurora a scary awesome present. Moreover, so would the other fairies, because at that point, both sides would be using it as an opportunity to show off and one-up each other. What they gave her before Maleficent showed up was basically just trivial party favors by fairy standards. How do you know so much about the social dynamics of medieval fairies? That is none of your business, is it, sir? OP is a fairy, don't give them your name. Pokemon is trying to slowly convince us Pikachu was always fluffy, and I for one accept this future. Did you think the mouse was just smooth and had yellow skin like a little Simpsons demon? If your dom is older, you call him daddy, but what if he's younger? What am I supposed to call a hot attractive dom who is younger than me? Him chokes me, wheezing. Your grip is getting stronger, sport. My friend's 6-year-old brother made this bracelet. He accidentally put the beads on backward, but that's okay, it's still super cute. Snart. Snart writes. Liam Neeson apparently was a danger on set because the GD have like 4 basic moves, but he was trained for sword fighting for Obroy, so he would wave his plastic sword in new and interesting ways that would not be choreographed, but were traditional actual ways to fight with a sword. To be fair, that does sound like something Qui-Gon would do. Between Liam actually knowing what he was doing and Owen not being able to stop himself from making lightsaber noises, it's a wonder the Phantom Menace got made at all. A crossover between King Midas and King Oedipus would be pure motherfucking gold. How dare you make me read this with my own 2 eyes. Well, Oedipus certainly can't read it with his via the lady Spanishes. Quality Greek tragedy humor. You can tell this is a high-ranking bun because he is wearing a crown that is also a bun. He is turning the tiles brown. He needs to be contained. SCP. Fools. This was a white goat. You can see the white markings on him. He's been soaking up the brown, and he's only got 1 square left. Let him finish his work. He's stealing the brown. I can feel this image on my teeth, and I'm so angry. I didn't think that until you said it, and now I'm mad at you. Someone who doesn't watch Gravity Falls, explain this picture. Time to collect that inheritance. I really need to stop saying mood to literally everything. First it was relatable, then it was same. I need to actually give thoughtful responses to someone, instead of instantly relying on the word crutch, of just throwing mood out there, as if it's a replacement for thoughtful human interaction. Same. Relatable. Mood. What's with all these stories of 100+ vampires falling in love with teenagers? Like, yes, they might look your age, but you've got a few centuries of maturity on them. I want vampires falling in love with 40-year-old suburban housewives and business executives and preschool teachers, not high school students. Vampires falling in love with spry 90-year-old great-grandmothers. Some people freak out a bit about the age difference. They think, what's this 96-year-old lady doing with a guy 4 times her age? It's springtime. Here it comes. It has arrived. I was gonna scroll right past this, but it suddenly resonated with me. My kink is cooking in front of my friends, who know which knife is made for what, and forcing them to watch me use the wrong one for the wrong thing. Use a cheese grater for tomatoes. You'll burn in hell for this. This good boy's a chimera, which is an animal that is genetically 2 animals. In this case he's a yellow and black lab. This means he is twice the good boy. Not my picture, found on Facebook. This is by far the least upsetting dog chimera I've ever seen. Reblogging for good dog chimera. Reblog for protection from the bad dog chimera. You know the one. What is the code entomologists use for I stepped on it? I'm so sorry. It was dark out, and the specimen was very small. Impromptu dissection was performed under less than optimal lighting conditions. Impromptu dissection is an alarming phrase in any context, and I thank you for it. What's biologist for the little fka bit me, and I yote it into the undergrowth on reflex. Specimen was removed from the study pool due to abnormal interaction responses. I fking love libraries, man. Like, I've been chilling in my college library and randomly pulling out books, and today I looked at one called Medieval Sexuality, and it was talking about how monks thought they should never have sexual feelings or get erections ever, and there was a quotation from the account of this one monk who wrote about how a woman had to stay with him one night because she was like traveling or something. And the sight of her made him so horny that during that night he had to stick his hand in a candle flame to distract himself from how horny he was. And also at least one monk wrote about having homoerotic dreams about Jesus. Kids these days need to open a book and be scarred for life by some obscure historical fact that they could have easily gone their entire lives not knowing. Opens book. Takes 3000 psychic damage. Closest book. Neat. Guys, the 80s are back. Star Wars, high-waisted jeans, oversized sweaters, flannels, horrible Republican government, conflict with Russia, the ever-impending threat of nuclear annihilation, scrunches, synthpop, bomber jackets, a tyrannical madwoman runs the UK, incompetent child runs the US, the entire world's in an economic crisis. Doctor Who. Is this We Didn't Start the Fire? 1960 with a high school diploma. Here's your job, which is totally capable of supporting a 5-person family and owning a home. 1960 with a college degree. Here's a giant bag of money and a cadre of people to jerk you off for the rest of your life. Congratulations. 2017 with 2 bachelor's degrees, a master's, a trade and experience. You might have to just work at Walmart for a while. At least you don't live in Somalia or something. Here's an article by a baby boomer about why your generation is lazy. It would funny if it didn't hurt inside. Being horny is so fucking stupid. If you horny, you're immediately a dumbass. That person could literally just be wearing a t-shirt, and the sight of their collarbone feels like you just snorted a line of coke. God fucking forbid they wear pants rolled over their ankles. You're foaming at the mouth and crouched on the floor like a fucking animal. You catch the sight of 1. Toned muscle, flatlined, dead. OP, are you okay? Sometimes, when I forget that humans are amazing, I think of Curiosity singing Happy Birthday on Mars, and this response. No guys, you don't understand. The soil testing equipment on Curiosity makes a buzzing noise, and the pitch of the noise changes depending on what part of an experiment Curiosity is performing. This is the way Curiosity sings to itself. So, some of the finest minds currently alive decided to take incredibly expensive important scientific equipment and mess with it until they worked out how to move in just the right way to sing happy birthday. Then someone made a cake on Curiosity's birthday and took it into mission control so that a room full of brilliant scientists and engineers could throw a birthday party for an autonomous robot 225 million kilometers away and listen to it sing the first ever song sung on Mars, which was Happy Birthday. This isn't a sad story. This a happy story about the ridiculousness of humans and the way we love things. We built a little robot and called it Curiosity and flung it into the star to go and explore places we can't get to because its name is in our nature, and then, just because we could, we taught it how to sing. That's not sad. That's awesome.